Mardi Gras is what Louisianans call Carnival. It's French for Fat Tuesday, referring to the final day of carnival feasting before the fast of Lent in the Catholic calendar. Nowhere in the United States is Mardi Gras celebrated with more gusto than in New Orleans. Here, Carnival lasts at least 2 weeks, and it is a huge holiday for Louisianan families and visitors alike. New Orleans Mardi Gras typically includes around 50 parades, 1,100 floats, 600 marching bands, and 140,000 participants. Some 10 million tourists come to watch. Mardi Gras happens thanks to crews, groups of volunteers who organize parades and events with their own funds, creativity, and initiative. This is the Skeleton Crew, masqueraders who parade in between the floats of the largest crews, known as Super Crews. The Super Crews run their own show, fund and design their own floats, and organize marching bands, dance troops, and smaller crews to join their parade. Crews are also responsible for what makes New Orleans Mardi Gras unique: throws. Throws are strings of beads, toys, and other gifts hurled into the crowd by the crew's float riders. Among the smaller crews to march early in Carnival is the Mystic Crew of Barkus. This crew is devoted to letting their canine friends share in the Mardi Gras frolic. New Orleans began holding Mardi Gras parades in 1857 with the Mystic Crew of Comus. Many modern crews preserve the tradition of starting their parades with flambeaux, or torch carriers, who light the parade and receive cash tips as thanks from the crowd. Flambeaux were all male until 2014, when the Crew of Muses brought out the first team of female carriers. The officers of each crew lead the parade on horseback, wearing face masks and throwing the balloons, which are aluminum coins bearing the crew's name and symbols in the crowd. The king and queen of the crews are elected each year by the crew members and toasted by the mayor.
We salute you, sir. We bequeath the streets of the city of New Orleans to you tonight. May you have a glorious, glorious reign and a beautiful ride. All hail Hermes! The floats are elaborate and often change from year to year. Each float holds dozens of riders who toss throws to the roaring crowd. The crowd traditionally shouts, "Throw me something, mister!" By law, each float rider must wear a mask. Super crews have up to 40 floats each. They often pick themes and have some floats made specifically for the theme, and other iconic floats they use every year. Between the floats are marching bands and smaller crews, such as this all-male dance troupe, the 610 Stompers, masters of self-parody. Or the crew of the Rolling Elvire, a long-standing crew of dozens of Elvis impersonators on mopeds and scooters. What's the point? If you have to ask, you'll never understand.
The masks worn by the captain, officers, and crew riders preserve their secrecy. Most super crews are assiduous about keeping the identity of their officers secret.
The 138 Proteus.
Proteus, Bacchus, and Endymion are all examples of all-male crews. Proteus was founded in 1882. Other crews, such as the crew of Cleopatra and the Muses, are all female crews. Still others, such as Morpheus and Orpheus, welcome everyone. During Mardi Gras, you will see a prevalence of 3 colors: green, gold, and purple. These are symbolic colors chosen by the largest Mardi Gras supergroup, Rex, which parades on Mardi Gras Day. Some crews hold masquerade balls for their dues-paying members. This is a Rex Ball invitation from 2004. The ball is an opportunity for debutantes to circulate and dance with crew members, and for crew royalty to be honored. Favors are given to guests, like this gilded bronze letter opener from the 1910 Rex Ball. Parade throws are paid for by the crews and include a huge diversity of beads, medallions, toys, drinking cups, decorations, frisbees, footballs, and more. Each crew has its own style. Here, we see the throws of Detat and Thoth. Muses and Iris, both are female crews, as their throws reflect. Orpheus and Endymion. Hermes and Bacchus. Tux, the Silius supergroup, and the Rolling Elvi, and Rex. Another Mardi Gras tradition is the king cake, an oval, usually cinnamon-flavored pastry with a small plastic baby inside. Finding the baby brings good luck, and whoever does it has to bring the cake the next year. Another cherished Mardi Gras tradition is the Indians. Black residents began dressing as Indians for Mardi Gras around 1885, probably inspired by Buffalo Bill's Traveling Wild West show. Originally, the Indians formed violent gangs. Allison Tootie Montana changed that in the 1950s, convincing the Indians to compete with decorated suits rather than with violence. Today, there are about 40 Indian tribes. They make their suits themselves and wear them just once, though they may take an entire year to create and cost thousands of dollars in materials. It all begins with a tribe spy boy spotting a rival chief and signaling the flag boy, who carries the flag of the tribe. The big chief is in the back, directing the whole tribe with a staff. When the big chiefs meet, they each chant and perform a ceremonial dance in succession, accompanied by a small percussion band. Each chief gives a war cry and demands the other bow and be humble. Then, having appreciated each other's suits, each goes his way in peace. The Northside Skull and Bone Gang is another group of African American masqueraders. They go from house to house, spreading messages of peace on Mardi Gras morning. The oldest and largest African American crew is the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Founded in 1916, Zulu parades on Mardi Gras Day, turning racial stereotypes on their head. Zulu is a crew of firsts. It was the first to racially integrate. It was the first to feature a celebrity monarch, Louis Armstrong. And Zulu was the first to have a signature throw, hand-decorated coconuts that remain the most valued prizes of Mardi Gras. Each Zulu member paints and decorates hundreds of unique coconuts and throws them to the audience over the course of the parade. In keeping Mardi Gras alive, New Orleans maintains its traditions of pageantry, creative self-expression, teamwork, and communal generosity. The smile say it all.